Hello, and welcome to our DogBizPro help video series. In this video, we will be explaining how to manually schedule a boarding registration. Clients have the ability to register online for boarding, but if you ever wanted to manually register them for an appointment, you would just want to do the following. To start, you would just want to navigate to your daycare and boarding module by clicking on the module dropdown and selecting daycare and boarding. Once inside, you would just want to click on the calendar tab in order to view your daycare and boarding module calendar. If you were scheduling from the calendar, you have a couple of options for scheduling. You can either click on the specific date from your daycare and boarding module calendar, and that should open up a small menu. From this menu, you could select Schedule Boarding, and that will open up your Schedule Boarding window. You could also schedule a boarding appointment by clicking on the Schedule button and choosing Schedule Boarding from the drop-down. And again, they'll open up that same Schedule Boarding window. From inside of the Schedule Boarding window, you should be able to set up your boarding appointment. The first area showing inside of this window is the option drop-down box. This drop-down box will allow you to select a specific boarding sign-up option. So if you wanted to select a sign-up option, you would just click the option drop-down and choose your sign-up option. Next, you'll see the all-day event checkbox. The all-day event checkbox will allow you to make this appointment run the entire day rather than off a set duration. So if I check this all-day checkbox, you'll notice that it grays out my start and end time because it's set to run that entire day. For the purpose of this video, we'll just leave that all-day event checkbox unchecked. The next section showing inside of this window is the client autofill box. This will allow you to actually assign a client to this boarding appointment. So if you wanted to assign a client, you would just want to start typing the client's name and question, select them from the search results down below, and then they're set up to actually attend that boarding appointment. After you have selected a client, you can now choose a dog from the dog dropdown. This will allow you to assign a specific dog to this boarding appointment. So if I wanted to assign a dog, I would just click on the dropdown and choose the dog in question. Next is the attendant dropdown box. If you ever wanted to assign a specific attendant to this boarding appointment, you could click on the attendant dropdown box and click on the employee in question in order to actually assign them. Next is the location drop-down box. Here you can assign a specific location for this boarding appointment. If you wanted to assign a specific location for this appointment, you would just want to click on the drop-down and select the location in question. The next area showing is the cost text box. This cost text box will likely have the default cost for that sign-up option already populated, so you shouldn't have to make any changes to this area. The next section showing inside of this window is the start and end date section. Here you are able to set the actual start and end date for your appointment. You're also able to set the start and end times as well. Again, the duration will auto-populate over based off the sign-up option that was selected, but if you ever wanted to extend that sign-up option, you could do that here by clicking on the time drop-down or the date drop-down and extend it out. If you were to actually extend the duration of a boarding appointment, based off the sign-up option that you have chosen, it should automatically update that cost when you make a time change. So for example, this boarding option that I have chosen is set up to last for 1 day. So let's say instead of it being 1 day, we want it to be 2 days. So instead of the 25th, we'll change it to the 26th as the end date. And if you notice, my cost instead of being 10, it now changes automatically to 20. So if your sign-up option is normally set up for 1 day and you manually adjust the duration to 2, it would double the cost by default. Next is the title text box. Again, this will populate based off the sign-up option that you have chosen, but if you wanted to change the name of your appointment, you should be able to change it here. So if you wanted it to be called Test Boarding 1, you could make that change here. The next section showing will allow you to actually use a credit, use a prepayment, automatically create an invoice, etc. If a client had a valid credit on their account and you wanted to apply a credit towards this registration, you could actually click the Use Credit checkbox in order to actually apply that credit towards this boarding registration. If a client actually had a prepayment on their account, they could actually use the Use Credit/Prepayment checkbox in order to actually apply a prepayment towards this registration. So again, if they had an available credit or prepayment on their account, they could actually use this checkbox here in order to actually apply that prepayment towards this registration. The next checkbox showing inside of this section is the Automatically Create Invoice for this registration checkbox. You'd want to check this checkbox if you wanted an invoice to be automatically created for this registration. If you did not check this checkbox, that client's account would still be charged, but the charged transaction would not yet be attached to an invoice. The next checkbox is the automatically email the invoice for this registration checkbox. This checkbox would allow you to automatically email the invoice out for this registration. So if you were automatically creating the invoice, you would have the option to automatically email it out to the client as well. The last two drop-down boxes showing inside of this section are the Apply Discount drop-down box and the Apply Payment drop-down box. If you wanted to apply a discount towards this registration, you could click on the drop-down box and actually apply a discount right towards this registration. If you wanted to apply payment towards this registration, you could click on the Apply Payment drop-down box and actually apply a payment right at the time of registration. Once you're finished, you can click Save to actually create that registration. Now, if you were to view your daycare and boarding module calendar, you should be able to see that boarding appointment showing right on your calendar. Hopefully that helps and explains how to manually schedule a boarding appointment.